awesome co-host,
Hey
Andrea
everyone.
Turnquist. Introduce yourself for a second.
Okay. Hi everyone. Andrea Turnquist, Placer Title Company. Go back to you, Ron.
Beautiful, beautiful. Hey, we are the Best Coast Business Toast. If you can't tell, we're brand new. First show. Who would have thought? We are here to celebrate the businesses of Central California, to put a highlight on folks that really need it in times that are difficult, needless to say. And, there are some out there that are doing really, really well and are finding ways to give back to community. There are others that are not doing well and need help. So we're here to shine light on all those kind of things. And, we're going to start by we're going to throw ourselves a curveball and just mix up the show format from day one. Usually we're going to go to the chamber corner to start, but we're not quite ready for that. But our guest is here today, our first ever guest. I'm really excited to talk about this, Andrea. So Sean doesn't know this, I don't think, but the first time he really entered my orbit is a chamber luncheon, South County Chambers, October, November 2019.
Sean doesn't know this, but I don't think. But the first time he really entered
delay here. All right, we'll work those things out. Yeah, literally the first week that I've been a business owner, and we're at this luncheon, and I get to introduce myself. We're all passing a microphone around, and I can't pass up a good microphone, and I get the microphone, and I say, I'm Ron Reilly. I'm the president and CEO of Gehring Taylor and Associates, and I said some other slogan after that, or something I shouldn't have probably, and Sean followed me. And Sean grabs the mic and he says, yeah, I'm Sean Schuur, Schuur Mortgages. I'm the president, CEO. I answer the phones, and I'm the janitor. And he put me right in my place. And I don't know if you'll remember that today, but he taught me a little something about humility that day. And gotten to know this guy a little bit more since then and how much he does in our community. Andrea, why don't you run down some credentials, introduce Sean properly, and we'll get going.
All right. Well, if anybody doesn't know Sean Schuur, you're missing out. Schuur Mortgage Solutions. I've had the pleasure of knowing Sean for probably over 18 years now, and I've had a lot of fun stories. He likes to call me boss lady, which I have no idea why. But just to give you a little highlight of some of the accomplishments he's had over the years, he's been Citizen of the Year of Napomo, Citizen of the Year of Arroyo Grande, however you want to say it, depending on where you live. He's been president of Napomo Chamber, Pismo Chamber, South County Chamber of Commerce, affiliate of the Board of Realtors 5 times. Oh, that's like what I've got, right? Yeah, good job, buddy. I'm proud of you. Women's Council member, and he's participated in several nonprofits such as Salvation Army, 5 Cities Men's Club, Rotary, New Life Church. So, Sean, thank you very much for being a guest on the show and being with us today. We're very excited to have you here. So Sean Schuur, Schuur Mortgage Solutions, and AG.
Thank you, Sean. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So how are you doing today?
Life is good, and we couldn't be any better. We're in 2021, and we're glad to see 2020 in the rearview mirror.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. And is that suit made out of freshly minted or pressed money, or?
We always show you the money when you're a Schuur Mortgage, and we always help you find the money so that you can build that house that you designed for them and engineered properly for them. And Placer Title got the title insurance for it. There you
Boom!
go. Both of your love right there.
Perfect. And both of us are really lucky to be able to see you almost every Friday on the Pismo Coast Association of Realtors meeting. All 3 of us affiliate members, of course. So we get to hear a little bit of what you're doing, what's going on. I know that it seemingly has been a pretty good year in your business. Has that afforded you a little bit more time and maybe the resources to do things in the community that you've wanted to do?
Strange enough, this year has been different for everyone. I have been blessed. I love this community. The community has been great for us. Over the 20 years or more we've been in the business, we've been able to get a lot of repeat customers over those years. So that's a real positive for us that we feel blessed about. as far as charities this year, it's actually been a little bit interesting. It's you're doing a little more money, less actual work in some cases. An example I'll give is I'm usually Santa Claus about 16 times during Christmas, and I was only Santa about 5 times this year. So I have the body for it. That's why everybody tells me I'm going to be Santa, but it works
It
out
doesn't show
well.
on it's our slim and narrowing cam, so we have no idea.
Yes, of course.
Do you grow the beard?
No, I actually have to add that on.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, God didn't bless me with a whole lot of hair, as you can tell from the So,
Hopefully no one sat on your lap this year, because with COVID and everything, that wouldn't have been good.
well, we didn't do that, but the funniest or the cutest story was I had a little 3-year-old, and she knew she couldn't touch Santa or sit on Santa's lap, but she just started to have a meltdown because she really just wanted Santa to be part of it. Santa wears white gloves anyways, so I pulled out my finger like E.T., and she reaches up and touches my finger, and it was the cutest thing you've ever seen. And then she got into the giggles and stuff. So you can always make lemonade out of that lemon. And the little girl definitely deserved to have that excitement of Christmas, because it's truly the reason for the season is to let everybody know our Savior came, but it's also to pass along goodwill and good tidings to everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the two little ones behind me. By the way, this is my calendar for 2021, and it says best year ever. And it just there's no way it can't be the best year ever. I think.
We'll see. It's off to a bang.
We had to do drive-through Santa this year, and they didn't write letters, so I told them they could email Santa this year. That's how we worked that out. But Sean, last Friday, I was in my second South County Chamber board meeting, and it was brought up that you were an outgoing member, and I know that the board does miss you. Now that do you miss the board, and if are you finding ways to fill your time?
You're always blessed with more things to do, but some of the things that are interesting is I had a great time. I was blessed years ago, over probably 15 years ago. I was president of the Pismo Chamber, then went through all of those things, did Napomo, then we became South County and did the consolidation of Napomo to add back to Grover Beach and to Aurora Grande, and we added in Avila and some customers of Pismo. So it worked out great. I have a lot of fun. This is a great community to give back to, and I really love our businesses and our business community because they do everything they can to survive. People love Amazon, try, and then they wonder why they can't go down to the city of Aurora Grande and pick up one of the little shops because they saved $1.10 instead of actually helping somebody on their own main street. So when you see that kind of stuff and people go, oh, I want to do this, or I did this online, well, that's great, but I also want to do the person that's actually down the street and help my neighbor. So again, it's like when you go to Miners, somebody goes, oh, you can run to Home Depot. Well, I can also pay $4 in gas to get to Home Depot, and I could have just bought it at Miners, and they'll send me the 3 screws instead of a box of 1,000 I didn't need. So you got to decide how you want to be a customer of this area. And truly, we need to be focused on our local businesses, our local different kinds of facets of industry. Example, you're doing a new function that actually helps people decide if they buy a piece of property, could they actually expand it and do the second home or a junior or all the other kinds of things with it. In the old days, it used to be just a crapshoot. You would just buy it and hope it worked out. So it's nice that there's some actual steps that can be done now to help people get to that next. And, regardless of the trials or tribulations, the big thing that we found for 2020 was we need to give grace and we need to receive grace. A lot of things are going wrong in people's homes, and you just didn't know what the bigger picture was sometimes. So the frustration you might be receiving has nothing to do with you at all. It could be their grandparent has COVID and has just passed away. We've had a couple of clients that passed away during the loan process, which was one of the harder ones to deal with because they got COVID.
Hello.
Right.
And we had to finish the transaction with just the spouse left. And she asked me, she says, what do I do? And I said, the whole reason we did this was so that if he passed, you would be prepared for your future. And we just didn't expect it to happen during the process. So
That's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that.
That's heartbreaking.
So when you look at the big picture and somebody's frustrated or something's going on that, or somebody's just letting their load off onto you, remember, you just don't know what path or what has been in their way. And I got big shoulders. I'm ready to carry whatever the load is, and we'll make it work.
That's admirable of you. I know, and when this all started, March of 2020, we didn't really know what was going to happen. And then after several shutdowns and real estate offices closing and the second wind of it, it seems like there was more and more people affected by COVID and more people that we knew directly that were affected by it. And you don't know the underlying issues. You hear about people in their 70s recovering, and then you hear about people in their 40s just taking them out. So I think we're all kind of taking it really seriously at this point now.
And I don't help hairdressers anyways with my own head. But, that's a industry that has just been slammed. They're hardworking, predominantly female-oriented industry and owners, and we are just watching their dreams and hopes just slowly being crushed. So whatever you can do, if you can buy gift cards or if you can do something to assist them in that process. A buddy of mine owns a barbershop, and he said, okay, I can cut hair outside. But then when they were like, you can't cut hair outside even anymore, it's just a real hard thing. And we've been through that with some of our folks in the loan process. So for 2021, our goal is to figure out how to make it work and keep us all safe, because we do want a safe 2021.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
We need to keep washing our hands too. And hopefully this will all be over before we know it. I know I really want my kids to go back to school. Where'd I go?
That's the big thing. That's the big thing. Sean, is there anybody in your office that can't be there during the day because they got kids on laptops and dealing with that?
Well, we've been blessed. We all of our staff works off site now. Mm-hmm. And so when you hit the door, it's actually me you're going to see. It's going to be me that's going to Xerox it. So the team of folks that we have that work for us, they all went off site, and one of them had gone off site a year before, so it wasn't a huge change. But she actually had gotten COVID during one of our probably about 2.5 months ago. And what was interesting is her husband's a big baby, even though she shouldn't see this video. Her husband was a big baby, and he's been over and sick for 4 days. As a typical mom, she just trudged on through because she had things that had to be done with her son and all the other things that had to happen in life. And she had a long weekend of stress. Our team picked up the slack, which I really appreciate them for doing. And she got back to work, but she was a very mild case. And you just have those ups and downs, but you really want to be thankful, A, if you haven't gotten it, or B, if you have somebody that has gotten it and has been put back on track, which is actually a real positive.
So that leads me, go ahead, Ron. I'll raise my hand.
Gonna raise your hand next time. Sean, you just brought it home for me. Over Thanksgiving, we kept it small in the family. And by family, I mean my wife and I and our 2 kids, and we left out 2 people that are the ones we're trying to protect in our family. And what ended up happening was my dad, in his everlasting wisdom, decided to drive from Sacramento to Eugene and visit grandma. And they both ended up contracting it at a birthday party. And the 2 people we tried to protect, we couldn't. And we were so fortunate that they didn't even have to be hospitalized. It was just, you talk about counting blessings, and the hidden gem in all of it was Dad and his wife got to come visit for Christmas and see the grandkids. So that was absolutely definitely spoil them. And you have to find the blessings in the madness and all of this. So
I agree. So I have a question for you. We know like the last quarter of 2020, how was your business during that time? Because in March, we were all kind of like, what's going on? And then towards the end of the year, it's kind of like, whoa, everybody's working long hours and docs are flying in and out. So can you tell us a little bit about what happened?
Well, in the mortgage industry, we're fueled by 2 different things. One is the actual real estate market, which is hot. So anybody that tells you that it's not hasn't been outside trying to buy a house in the last couple of weeks, or actually last couple of months. Inventory, and we're in a desirable area. And now that a lot of folks are able to work from home, we have a lot of those types of individuals that are coming from the Bay Area or Sacramento or LA, purchasing a lot of our $500,000 to $700,000 homes because they just left a 1-bedroom for the same price or even more to get a 3-bedroom here. So we've seen a lot of that change. We did one loan for one person with a major company, and we ended up doing 12 more loans within their process for everybody else that moved here too. So it worked out well for us and for all those individuals to get themselves out of the Bay Area. Number two is interest rates have been predominantly low, and they trickle up and they trickle down, and it is something that happens daily. There is a lot of money that's being printed right now going into the economy, which could in turn into inflation, which would make the rates go up a little bit. But right now they've been phenomenal, and it's a great time for the refinancing, and that's what we've been doing a lot of also. So that's the dual-edged sword is you want to take care of your refinances as always, but you always want to take care of your purchases because they're on a limited timetable because they have to close in 30 or 45 days. And that industry is still pushing hard and fast, which is really positive because when you get into a transaction, there's 5 to 10 other companies that are involved in it, which in turn means that that money is moving into our economy and our local economy between salaries and just expenses. So
Right.
it actually works out.
That's
really well.
huge. The local economy, I think, is really kind of what this is all about. I do want to remind people real fast, you can call 323-580-5755 if you want to be on live and ask questions. We're also at the Gehring Taylor Facebook page. We're on live, which I thought was an interesting way to debut the show. We'll just go ahead and put it on the company Facebook page live. We'll just risk all that. We're that good, right?
Well, you are the president. I did learn that the first time I met you. And you're CEO, so you've got all the power.
We met another time before that, and it was actually a really fun story, I think. Friends of the Price House. Do you remember the get together at
Years ago at
I was there with Dave Watson and Deb Watson.
This is a good story. If you don't remember it, I've heard it.
Yeah. What's the restaurant? It's a really famous restaurant in Pismo.
we were in Giuseppe's.
Giuseppe's? Yeah. I wasn't even there, but I kind of could just call it out.
That's how long it's been since When we go to a restaurant recently, we just haven't. So yes, Giuseppe's. And we had this table that had a group. We've since been in contact here at GTA. They're a company that they do development. I think they were from Porterville, and they developed the Kmart Center here and did the grocery outlet and all that. And it was a big auction for the Price House that night.
They're actually a local company.
They are local now. Oh, okay. All right.
A local company.
They okay. When they were talking to me, they were saying they were from the Valley because
Yep.
my wife and I were relating because we were from there as well. And anyhow, what I thought was fantastic. I'm not even sure that the painting was really something that was supposed to be auctioned that night, but there was this auction going on and a lot of money being raised. And at the end of the night, Sean Schuur sold a painting for a good price to those people at our table. And he wouldn't take no for an answer. He went to every table and just made sure the price kept going up. It was wonderful.
Well, the Price House is one of our jewels of Pismo, and
Yeah.
Effie McDermott and the Price House team has done a great job restoring and raising money for that. So
Right.
It's actually really neat. And that's the thing about our area. Even with everybody locked inside or social distancing, if you got a social distance somewhere, why not here? I mean, you're not in the cold, you're not in the snow. We went kayaking this weekend. Where else are you going to go kayaking in the middle of this, January? So life is good.
Life is good. Life is good.
Yeah.
Bring it 2021. What other kind of questions? What else can you tell us?
One of the things that you brought up is what's different about this year versus last year and those things.
Right.
And a few years ago, I had a heart attack, which I didn't tell anybody about because in our industry, if you're not available, they'll just move on to another world.
Right.
I'd had a major heart attack, and I had to decide, do I want to stay in the business, retire? And strangely enough, I realized how much I actually love what I do. And then the other thing I did is I actually bought a coach. I'd been doing this for over 20 years, and I thought I knew everything, which everybody that does a business for a length of time will get into that rut of already know what this is or that. And strangely enough, I had bought a coach, and it really was all about attitude. It was,
Right.
I was grateful to be alive. I was grateful to, look at every day and all those great things. But the biggest change that I had to give was how I actually approached the day. And how do you start your day? And what do you do to start that day? I actually read a little scripture, and then I watch a business video of thoughts for the day. So I catch both sides of the coin, my personal back feelings of my own choices, but then I also look towards my business. And it's a good way to start your day if you start it clean and fresh and exciting. So that's one of the things I would suggest to anybody that's had a rough time or working from home. Andrea did a great job on a recent charity auction we all were all on, and I had to tip a person for making goulash in a crock pot and all those things. And the three of us were all on this Zoom, and I noticed I was the only one not drinking, but I'll leave that alone.
Hey,
But it was a lot of fun, and the excitement that y'all did and generated from that was actually really exciting during a time frame when nobody supposedly could do anything.
Right.
Another example I'll give is every year we do a charity tree from the Board of Realtors. And the Board of Realtors, I go every week, and we have these conversations, and we talk to everybody, and we try and get everybody to join. What was amazing this year is we raised more money in one meeting and was in and done automatically. And the actual Board of Realtors affected about 150 children with gifts by what they gave. Then we actually matched that number in our company with our own personal, and we ended up actually touching about 300 people total. So it worked out to be phenomenal. But even in a time when somebody says you can't do something, it's more of you might not be willing to do something. But if you actually try the creativity like the auction that y'all had, or doing the tree auction, and watching the team get together to make a difference in our community. So that's the other benefit of 2021 is looking for those opportunities this year.
I couldn't agree more. And we actually, on that particular event for the foundation for the Pismo Coast Association of Realtors, we exceeded our budget or our amount as well too. But it was a fun, and we don't know what the next 6-12 months holds, and we just have to stay positive and keep moving forward. And like everybody's been saying, we're all in this together. So
stay positive, test negative. That's what they say.
There you go. I was just glad I didn't have to do a golf tournament this year. So hey, worked out well.
Oh, that's yeah.
Them fighting words.
Home Builders Association still does golf tournaments. So I did have one of those this year. I played 9, and then I hosted a hole for the rest of the day. It was.
I heard you ran out of beer.
Yeah, your guy to be, he drank it all. Just kidding, Steve. We all love you. Yes. So the in-person stuff has been difficult. One of the things that we've been tossing around, actually in Grover Beach Rotary, and I think now it's going to become something maybe that the chamber tries to do, is this idea of 51st dates. And what we're doing is kind of looking at the different areas of the South County chambers. And I don't want to just make this a South County discussion. I think, in coming weeks, we're going to touch San Luis Obispo, Paso Robles as well, and talk to people up there. But
our vision is big.
Each of the cities around here or areas, the idea would be to pull together these gift baskets, which are essentially, chamber board members, ambassadors, anyone we can find to donate that are going to go pull together these kind of pre-bought dates. So you'll have, a gift card to go to this restaurant, maybe a gift card to go to the movie theater, go get a massage one of these days. and pull together these cool baskets for each of the communities and essentially sell raffle tickets to the communities for them. And I think that the creative thought process of how do we help businesses that have started and stopped and started and stopped and face a really just terrible winter, to be frank, how do we help them see the spring and the summer? And I'm curious, Sean, I mean, you know, as a former board member, are there things that you think about, or do you, because those are the kind of things that keep me up at night that I'll think about.
Some of the
Right.
things that have been really helpful, and we get a lot of different calls, and it's just like we're about to come up with more money that's going to be given out to small businesses, the PP loans and all these other things that are going on. Being a resource for that is, regardless of what else you do, if you can really help somebody get over their struggles of filling out the paperwork, or having somebody that can say, hey, this is the 10 steps that you got to do before you go see your bank. Because the only people that are actually filling them out in most cases is your primary business bank, not just because you have a bank account there, but it's where your business account is. And then that's who did a majority of those loans, or CPAs or financial institutions.
Right.
Having help with that would be a bigger success, so that they know how to use those funds, or what's the rules behind those funds. There's still a lot of gray area that a lot of people have is, hey, I got the money, but then what am I going to pay back? What am I not going to pay back? A lot of people have been really good about monitoring that it all went to payroll like it was requested. Those are things that a chamber needs to help get us ready and prepared for, because there's only going to be another $1 trillion given out, which sounds like a lot. But
Right.
when you slice it up across the United States, it doesn't turn into that much in a Rio Grande or
Yep.
Napomo or SLO or Paso Robles. So we really want to optimize and maximize that. The other thing that happens as a chamber, the 50 dates are great, but actually go and have 50 dates with your community.
Right.
Figure out what's going on in your community that you can go do. Hey, I can go and pay for this. Or an example, my buddy owns Roses, Doug. I bought gift certificates to there.
Mm-hmm.
And so one night we had somebody over at the house and we just didn't feel like cooking. And she said, well, what do you got? And I was like, let's just get a gift certificate. Let's have Doug prepare it and we'll just pick it up. Had a phenomenal meal. Those are the things that you got to remember about your small businesses, because when they say that nobody can come and eat in your restaurant, eat outside after you just spent 20 grand putting up an outdoors area, really a frustrating moment. So that's what we've got to look at. The other thing that a chamber can also do is the networking that they did during Christmas, the roundabouts, doing that a little more on a regular basis, where you actually have, quote, a chat room where 5 or 6 people. I actually met 3 people I didn't know. Strangely enough, I knew everybody in every chat room, but there was 3 people, and they go, how come you know everybody, but we don't know you? And it worked out great, because it was a great chance for me to meet 2 more people that I'd never known and haven't done business with, but one of them we actually did along with, because it was just one of those things where you have the conversation, then they called us back later and said, hey, what are the rates really at? So that's the other thing, is that follow-up that you can do. Everybody wants to say, throw their hands up sometimes. And what you really need to do is put your hands out to catch, not to throw up. So catch whatever's going on, or help somebody pass it along, but don't throw your hands up in the air and give up. Help somebody else get across to the next line.
That's awesome. That's really good advice.
And you just reminded me something, Sean, which is, you know, the way that we shop in this area. And I've thought for a while, I mean, it's far too late to affect this holiday season and help anybody through this winter. But I think for coming years, you know, when everyone talks about this Cyber Monday, and, you know, I've got 8, 9 people here that are working on Monday and shopping. Why in an area like this, you know, why be on Amazon, Walmart, etc.? I know it's easy. I know it gets delivered in 2 days, but that's the day that the people here need you. I mean, there's Black Friday, it's Cyber Monday. Let's Let's
Small
give everybody
business
an extra half hour at lunch. Go do some shopping downtown, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Small Business Saturday, actually, American Express, when 3 years ago when I was president of the chamber, we were lucky to be a part of that membership.
Hmm.
And they actually provided the promotional materials, and a lot of people in the village used it. Some people
Great.
in Grove Beach used it. They even gave us doormats to say, hey, shop small on Saturday. So those are some things that can always be done. The other thing that some people sometimes go, hey, I don't want to shop at Walmart. Well, at least Walmart has a brick and mortar in your town, and
True.
they're actually getting 350 employees that ultimately are working that money to work through all the other businesses in town.
Right.
You know, everybody, my neighbor next door is so glad when they get something from UPS. The UPS guy's working to death, but nobody else is locally because it's all coming from some factory from some other country even, and just
Right.
showing up in the door with a smile. I want that smile to be live and getting it from somebody that I actually know.
Yeah. Well, you know, real quick, just business talk. Don't want to go too deep, but that Walmart competition, you say they have that presence. One of the big things that, you know, because we work in the commercial space, and a lot of the commercial spaces are looking at how can we turn this space into 3 smaller spaces with a loading dock and like one person that works at the front, and we're just a fulfillment center.
Mhm.
And oh boy, when you talk about that amount of real estate, you know, basically employing 2 people at a time, you know, it's more than that, but it's quite a bit less than what our local Walmart does. It's a little bit scary. Of course, that's all good work that we're not going to turn down, but it's kind of the future of retail. That's what we're staring at, and we have all this local viability. So, hey, Sean,
Well, if you want to make a millions and millions, all that you should have done is, which I tried to offer up numerous times as a previous store manager with Sears and Roebuck. Sears and Roebuck should have just changed to Amazon because they were the original catalog company in the United States. You could even buy a Craftsman home through a catalog, and the entire home would come on the back of a truck to your location. But all of their facilities, they have the loading docks, they have the facilities. You could have just set up all of these facilities nationwide and just bought all their real estate out of bankruptcy.
Well, as they say, hindsight's 2020. It's too bad. And then they merged with Kmart at that point,
I
didn't
think
they?
Sears and J.C. Penney we saw for a long time coming though. So
We used to do J.C. Penney pictures every year, portrait.
see, when I was in college, we did a Kmart picture, the 7 of us. It was awesome. Let me tell you. One of us was wearing a tiger shirt. It wasn't me, but somebody was wearing a tiger shirt.
Oh, awesome. I can't wait to see these photos.
Oh, it's good. I love it.
So Ron, what is the number one thing you want for 2021?
Hey, for 2021, honestly, I want to see the ones that and when I say the ones, the businesses I know that have been here, that we hope that are gonna be here, that have that spirit in them, that kind of, I want to say servant leadership, but it's more like it's greater than us. We're a community. This is a smaller town. It's a smaller area. I want those that are having a difficult time, you know, to not only just be here so I can talk to them next year. I mean, we want them to thrive. We don't want any area, none of our commercial areas to blight any people that are doing business out of homes. I mean, that's what makes this area great, is the spirit of cooperating together, and just losing even one of them is really, it's always painful to me. So I want everyone that's really trying out there, that has a stake in this community. I want them to have the resources to be here. And you know, you were talking about loans a few minutes ago, and I can't even imagine trying to talk some people through the steps when I think I'm pretty technically savvy. And the 4 steps to try to apply for the California grant, it took me a week. I mean, I think I got the final thing in today, and it's due tomorrow. And you know, I may or may not get the grant. I don't know, but I can't even imagine all the steps of trying to get through a loan and how your business must have changed in that time. Sean, we didn't get to have Jocelyn here today, so we had a little extra time with you, which has been exciting. And so part of the show, and you know, I mean, we're called the Best Coast Business Toast. So we're gonna do a toast at the end, and I hope you brought something. I don't know if you know, it could be all right. It's a non-branded water, non-specific water brand, and I wrote this one out a little bit. Just, you know, I don't want to script much, but to Sean Schuur and Schuur Mortgages. Okay. I want to wish you continued success, and that you may have the time and resources to continue doing the good work you do for this community. And lastly, that you'll come back if there's something, you know, you'd like to share with our audience, if we have an audience, and and maybe when Andrea and I are a little bit better at this, and far better at this. I mean, cheers, salute, thank you, my friend.
Cheers to both of you, and may you
Cheers.
both have a blessed 2021.
Thank you, sir.
Sean. Thank you, Ron.
Yes.
Thank you for being part of it.
All right. That was awesome.
You're awesome.
Hey, we couldn't have asked for a better first guest, I'm telling you.
I know. We didn't even go through our questions. Are we still live and recording?
We're still on. There are potentially billions, but I'm going to say maybe a dozen people.
Hey, that's pretty good. That's
well,
pretty
a dozen billion is, I mean, I think it's more people than there are in the world, but they're all watching, so it's good. Yeah.
And I'm so sorry. My daughter kept calling me, and I put the phone on do not disturb, and I got this fancy little gadget like you told me to do, and it didn't. He wasn't doing its thing today.
That's okay. It's all practice. I you know, it's infotainment, right? we put out the info, we entertain. Infotainment. And you know, I do want to throw out a few things. One is we never once said the email address. It's Best Coast. Okay, Best Coast BT. That's the letters BT. Best Coast BT as in business toast at Gmail. As our producer Fred likes to say. .com. We want to hear your questions for Sean. We want to hear questions for the chamber, suggestions for future guests, you know, suggestions for potential beverage sponsors. You know, heck, you know, was this? I think this is a Van Houston shirt. Maybe they can be a sponsor. I don't know, but
I forgot to put my name tag on, or questions for Ron about
name tag,
or questions for Andrea.
And so anyways, bestcoastbt@gmail.com. A few episodes coming up that we're going to tell you some people are coming. We got a representative. It might be Frank Shiro. It might be one of his representatives for, you know, Mason Bar, Rooster Creek, some of the other restaurants in town. I believe we're going to have Tiffany Steps Hernandez and Central Coast Strong, Jeff Buckingham and Digital West. We have really great lineup for everybody, and I think we're going to continue to get better throughout the time. Andrea, anything else you want to add to today, or should?
Well, as one of my wise friends said, let's get it done in 2021. So,
you're done.
You're done. Of course, you'd say that.
Right.
Thank you, everyone, for attending. This is our first show. We're going to be doing it the second and fourth Tuesdays of the month.
That's right.
If you need to contact me, my cell phone is 805-602-0432, 805-602-0432. I said that really fast. Whoa.
I did forget to ask Sean how to contact him. I'll tell you right now. Sean, wait, no, it's just Schuur.
Here.
Sean.
Stand by.
What's his email address, Andrea?
Schuurloan@AOL.com.
Thank you. That AOL thing was the only thing I could remember. You know, by the way, Sean's been doing this since 1999, and that's why his email address is AOL. I'm sure it's no other reason. Hey, we're the Best Coast Business Toast. This is Andrea Turnquist. Get to know her. I'm Ron Reilly. Yeah. Hey, thanks for